Let's get it. Hey guys, hope everyone's doing really well tonight or today. I want to make a quick video on exactly how I was able to reduce my screen time, approximately 90%. So, a little bit of background. At one stage, I was on my phone like 24/7. I wouldn't look at the little indicators on, I guess, how much time you spend on each app. I just wouldn't look at it because I know, like, for some of the apps, they'd be in the double digits, 10 plus hours a day, which is insane and is not okay for like anyone. Doesn't matter if you're bored all day, it's just not good for you, right? So I I now spend, I'd say, at max probably an hour on my phone, and that's between answering emails, listening to music, a bunch of different things. But it's not spent just sitting on TikTok, for example. And I'll go through exactly how I was able to do that, my reasons why, etc. So let's get into it. Now, yeah, so I guess a little bit of background, right? Everyone says, you shouldn't be on your phone too much because obviously it's not good for you, etc. And that's fine, but I think that there's also some bigger reasons exactly why you shouldn't you should want to change from being on your phone all the time. Now, first and foremost, it's super easy to get hooked on social media. Um, Obviously, the algorithms are designed to kind of, you know, identify content that you like and that you want to see more of, and then give you more of that, right? Now, that makes it so that it's super profitable, for a TikTok or a YouTube or an Instagram, um, or even the next to do that. But the reality is, it's probably best done in moderation because like it's also good for you in terms of like you're actually getting content that you want and that you find engaging. But the problem lies when you kind of abuse that and just absolutely spend way too much time on social media. Now, if you say, even if you spend 8 hours a day on your phone, which isn't super crazy, right? You sleep 8 hours and then you have 8 hours free, which gets consumed to, eating and whatever else. Um, that's a big, big chunk of your life. We're talking, if you live until say 80, we're talking, 20, 30, even more years staring at the screen, which is crazy. Now, look, that might just be part of your life through, for example, say you're an influencer or say you work at an office, where you're staring at a computer for the most part. Um, there are things that you can kind of do to reduce that or make sure that you save your eyes from actually just burning out. You don't get headaches, etc. There are things that you can do to kind of mitigate that. But if you're doing it where it's like you're using 8 hours of time to be super unproductive to just rot away essentially, I don't think that's a good thing. Now, what's really interesting, and I've never been one to do this, but I've noticed as well some people will kind of bring out their phone when they're a little bit anxious, when they're a little bit bored, when they're even around people when there's not much to talk about, when things go quiet, people will bring out their phone, even though you're with that person. So, and I find that super like disrespectful, super wrong. But people do it, and it's kind of unfortunate. It's like you can't actually sit there and just have a chat or just be there in silence. So when you start to see that, you're like, just wow. Um, and look, yeah, while a lot of the content can be educational and super stimulating, you actually don't remember for the most part, you don't remember a lot of it. Now, for me, what I've done is, if I'm listening to say a podcast or I'm listening to if I'm watching a video and I find something really interesting, you could save that or you could say, write down on a piece of paper exactly what you learned. You can do those things, but for most people, they're not doing that. They're doing it, just to consume, and that just means scrolling. And for the most part, if you actually have a think and look back and say, what did I see for the last couple reels? You probably don't remember. So that's saying something. Um, and yeah, this doesn't just include short form content like reels or TikTok or shorts. It's not just that. It's also you could be watching, you could be binge watching YouTube videos. Now, not a lot of people talk about this, but I used to spend a lot of time on YouTube. I still do to some extent, but I'm getting better. it was very easy to get sucked into the whole of, just interesting videos on YouTube as well. And these are long form videos. These aren't short videos that are supposed to be engaging. These are things that take up a lot of time, like almost like watching Netflix over and over, or binging Netflix. So those are my reasons to change. Now, here are some things that I actually did to kind of, make that change possible. Um, for me personally, I feel that 90% of the notifications on your phone, they're not actually relevant or necessary at all. Now, look, that might exclude texts from family, that might exclude work emails, for example. But even work emails, I mean, like, you don't have to be like notified all the time. Depending on the day, I used to get, say, I don't know, maybe a notification every 10 minutes, and when there's something, when there's something that's kind of drawing your attention to it every 10 minutes, that by itself is not a good thing, right? I'm not sure if you guys are, I guess, aware of the term deep work, and kind of being able to just lock down and really work in this environment without distractions. Something like notifications just doesn't allow that to happen. It's just not possible. So if you can remove them, that makes a really big difference. It has to me. Even things like, I don't know, something silly like an Uber notification. Even when I'm not ordering Uber, the fact that I'm picking it up and looking at it, it might mean that I actually open my phone and go into other things, or it might mean that I've just broken my focus for whatever reason. Another really great one is implementing the little screen time function. So actually, I do have this on my phone right now. And what it does is it kind of just gives you big picture how much time you spent on your phone. Now, sometimes that number is a little bit bigger. For example, you have a really busy day, or it's the weekend, you have nothing to do. But being able to just have that there in the back of your mind, it makes you double think. When you're on your phone, just sitting there doing nothing, it's like, I don't want that number to go up. And I've had to develop that over time. So now I'm kind of, my aim is to keep it under an hour, or around about an hour, and no more than that. Yeah. Now, I've written here using a time blocker app. I actually do this for a couple applications, specifically TikTok and Instagram. It's where it's those apps that I feel like I'm missing out on something, so I kind of need to kind of go back to it. Now, if you put a time blocker on, what I've done is I can access it 20 times a day, but only 2 minutes each, right? So that's a total of, what's that, 40 minutes or something. So I can access it for a total of 40 minutes, right? But that's done for the day. And I have 20 times to access it. And, there's also a streak function. I don't pass that streak, because 20 times is just so excessive. There might be one time where, say, you're scrolling and you might do 10 times in one go, but you kind of get sick of actually pressing keep going, keep going. So you just end up giving up, which is obviously is really good in this case. And look, if you can physically make it hard to use your phone, for example, what I've done is when I charge my phone, I don't actually charge it plugging in. I charge it using the wireless charger. Now, the wireless charger is situated on the opposite side of my room. So it means that, before I go to bed, I'll pop it on its nightstand, same as my Apple Watch as well. But you don't, I guess you don't have the want to get up and go look at your phone or grab your phone once you're in bed. Um, so if you can kind of make it really difficult to use your phone in places where you're going to use it, that could be really beneficial as well. For example, even at work, if you can put your phone upside down, that works really well as well, because there's nothing, you don't feel like you're missing out on anything. It's the back of the phone. And look, everyone's got their own little kind of hacks and tricks on how to do this. Some people use grayscale, which is kind of where you remove all the colors on the screen. Now, that hasn't really worked for me, nor, like, I don't really like it. And maybe that's the point of it, because then it stops you from using your phone. But I think I've kind of built it up where I actually don't really want to look at my phone for the most part. So something like this probably doesn't apply to me, but it might apply to you, and it might work really well for you. Now, just some quick tips to kind of help you, I guess, reduce your screen time on your phone. it will be hard initially just because everyone around us is using their phones. There's apps designed to kind of keep you on there, and it's always with you, right? So just know that initially it will be really tough, and the fact that you're making an effort is really good. It might not, you might not do the most first off, and that's fine. But I think over time you'll kind of develop this habit. It's like building a habit. Now, friends, a big reason why I have the time blocker on Instagram and TikTok is because of my friends, right? I want to see what they're up to, what they're doing. But the reality is, and this was hard for me to believe initially, but now I've realized it. Like things like stories and stuff, like cool, like they're great, but the reality is it like doesn't really matter. You might look at it and go, "Wow, that's really cool," but you actually forget about it. Like it's kind of like reels almost. It's like it's great that you're updating us, but actually there's nothing really important here or something anything that I find interesting. Now this might be different for say, people who you really love looking up to, for example, like a YouTuber or something like that. It might be different, but I think it still applies here. You don't need to always know what they're up to. So, where you can get people to text you on text or phone or even meet them in real life, I think that's probably the best thing to do. I appreciate that that isn't a possibility for everyone, but do what you can to I guess connect with them outside of the apps. This is a really good one as well. Understand the triggers for when you grab your phone. So for me, if I'm bored or if I get a notification, I have nothing to do, I'm going to use my phone. If I'm in bed and I have my phone next to me, if something pops up, I'm probably going to use it because there's nothing else to do, right? If I'm just relaxing watching a movie, I'm going to be on my phone as well. It just understand the points that where you kind of go stuff it and just you use your phone, or you kind of end up going on this 2 hour scroll-a-thon. Like understand when that happens and then just put things in place to eliminate that. It might be that you don't use your phone in bed, for example, or in the morning. It's far away from you, you have to get up and out of bed to actually use it. Things like that can also help. And then look, over time, obviously, this is like a very personalized thing, like using your phone. If you can refine it over time and make it so that it gets super easy to kind of almost forget you have your phone, obviously that works really well. For example, for me, my Apple Watch has worked really well as like a phone substitute, where it has all the functions you have on your phone, but it's much smaller, and it's almost like something I don't want to kind of text on or interact with on. So, where necessary, I'll kind of use my Apple Watch. But if I'm going for a walk, I'm not going to bring my phone. I'll just use my Apple Watch, and you can listen to music on there. Um, you can text people on there, so there's no need for your phone in that case, and that works really well for me. But regardless, like you will over time find that you kind of just you're getting bored of your phone. You're kind of sick of it actually, and you'll use it when you need it, but not all the time, not like you used to. And that's happened for me. So really happy with the results. I have a lot more time in my day. I don't have time to do X Y Z because I certainly do now. Um, so yeah, I hope you guys have found some value in this. Just a quick one. Hopefully, it helps someone out there. It definitely has helped me, and I've gotten a lot of my life back. Now, the tricky part is maintaining it, but you know, TBD will kind of figure that out as we go, and make it so yeah, we can actually live a decent life, not stuck on our phone. If you guys have any questions, let me know. But otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.